trying two English reds, both from the same producer, Bolney Estate, located in Sussex. We've recently just started listing these wines on the website. We wanted to find some good English reds, so it's kind of tricky because obviously the quality isn't quite up there at the moment in the UK for the reds. So we did quite a lot of research, and we read all the critics' notes and things, and these are the two that really stood out for being the best. It's just down the road from us, so we're able to go down there and pick up some samples, and we're actually pretty happy with the results. Okay, so I'm going to try the Pinot Noir first. I think it's probably the lighter of the two. So it's 100% Pinot Noir, 2011, which was a really good year for English wine. The Indian summer meant that the grapes were able to accumulate that bit more sugar, and this is actually 13% alcohol by volume, which is pretty unbelievable for an English wine. Okay, so now on to the wine itself. Using these quite strange Riedel glasses, which I quite like, but they're a little bit weird looking. Okay, so don't know if you can see that, but it's actually quite a startling colour. It's almost a purple colour that straight away you know this is going to be an extremely youthful wine. Obviously it is a red wine from 2011, but the thing is about English wine is really made to be drunk now, and I thought I'd quickly explain a few points about ageability in wine, because it is a term that we throw around quite a lot, but actually you know, maybe not everyone knows what it means because it's not that straightforward. So what's going on inside the bottle of wine as it ages? Well, basically you have the pigments and the polyphenols, which are components of the wine, and they're actually binding to get longer and longer and longer to become bigger molecules. So eventually they become so big that they fall out and precipitate, which is where you get the sediment inside the wine. So that's happening, as well as the esters, which are the aroma compounds that donate primary fruits like bananas and pineapples. They're also transforming to become more secondary characteristics. So you'll get different kinds of aromas coming from the wine after that transformation. So basically this is going to happen no matter what the wine. The alcohol and the acid content won't change, but you might get the illusion that it does because other components within the wine have changed. But this still doesn't answer whether or not a wine is going to age. Well, actually you go right back to the beginning of the wine, and it's partly down to the selection of the grape variety. Unless you can get a thick skin and enough tannin in the wine, it's going to be difficult for it to age. And grape varieties like Cabernet Sauvignon and some of the native Italian grapes, the Shiraz, that we really can't grow in the UK, you're going to be able to get those thick skins. And also it's going to be down to how much water you have inside the grape, so how much water content in relation to sugar and acid and alcohol. So obviously in the UK it could be quite likely that we're going to have you know, a bit too much water inside that grape, definitely in comparison to a really hot climate where they're probably using you know, dry farming, and they don't have a problem with rain around harvest time. Okay, so I don't know if that's really answered the whole picture, because it is a very complicated thing. There's also something that is impossible to predict. A wine might have everything going for it to be a good ager, and it just isn't, and vice versa. So it kind of is down to personal preference, but if you don't have those tannins to kind of last within the wine, then you're likely to end up with a very boring and very out of balance wine. Okay, so now on to this Pinot Noir. So as I said, the colour is youthful and it's kind of weird. It's very, very light and almost purple. Okay, so it's quite difficult to get some movement in the glass, but this is a proper wine tasting glass. It's made by Riedel. Okay, so on the nose, it's kind of what you'd expect in a way from the appearance, oddly. It's very light and perfumey on the nose, lots of cherries and raspberries and blueberries, so it's a delicate nose, pleasant but nothing very complicated. So on the palate, there really isn't very much tannin at all. It's extremely light. I'd say you could get away with putting this wine in the fridge and chilling it down and drinking it like a rosé. It has actually got very good balance despite that. As a very light, light fruity wine, it's got excellent balance. It's got some heat from the alcohol. It definitely, you can tell that's 13%. It's got some very delicious kind of red fruits and summer fruit flavours. It's got a slight woodiness on the finish. It's definitely a very pleasant wine. I think if you're the kind of person that expects a lot from a red, like expects a lot of body and something robust, then I'd say steer clear of this wine. But as a summer drinker, maybe to be chilled down and drunk in the garden, I think it's definitely a winner. Okay, so now on to the second Bolney wine. So this is the Lychgate Red. And it's a blend of Rondo and Dornfelder grapes, which are typical red grapes to be found in the UK. They're from Germany originally, and they work well in England because they're quite resistant to spring frost, and they also yield good power within the wine and good level of anthocyanins, so good colour. Okay, so now on to the wine. So straight away, it's a lot more comforting in a way than the last one, because you get some real red wine colour going on. It's pretty impressive. It's a very dark red, kind of ruby red colour. Okay, so wow, on the nose it's totally different to the last one. Obviously different grapes, but it smells, it smells like a red wine. It smells. There's a real explosion of black fruits and some chocolate and coffee beans, like very strange, like almost reminds me of a Shiraz in a really strange way. I know I probably shouldn't say that because there's nothing like a Shiraz. The palate, again, is just so impressive for an English wine. The tannin is, I'd say, again, this wine, it's got to be drunk now in the next year or so, because it does have a light amount of tannin. It feels actually quite tannic compared to the last wine, but the tannin is still quite light, and I think, it needs to be drunk now so that it remains in balance. There is a good level of acid, and again, it's 12.5%, so you've got the alcohol content there as well. It's got some really captivating fruit components, lots of blueberries, lots of cherries, lots of raspberries, and again, it's got this like delicious chocolatey coffee bean taste. I really love this wine. I think I like this Pinot Noir, but if I'm totally honest, this is my favourite. I think try them both because you'll be really pleasantly surprised. We've put a lot of work, as I said, into choosing a good English wine, a good English red wine, and I think it's definitely worth giving it a go. Open your mind. Don't be snobby towards English wine. We should support the winemakers of this country. So enjoy these wines this summer. Okay, thank you.